Okay, first of all, thank you so much, and thank you for all of the very kind comments on the quality of the animation. We definitely spent a lot of time on that. My background in animation actually starts fairly early. So I started animating around 2010. I started uploading those animations to YouTube around 2012. I, at the time, had a pretty popular animated series going on called Pivot Spider-Man, which was basically me telling original Spider-Man stories using Spider-Man characters. And I had grown a decent sized fandom. I was getting a decent amount of views, but I remember around the time I started going to college, I very regrettably so ended up deleting all of those videos. I still have a few archived that are actually still on my YouTube channel now, of the ones I was able to find and the ones I was able to save. But I deleted them because I eventually kind of wanted to start doing my own thing. I wanted to start to tell original stories with original characters, and that's kind of how the concept for Captain Zero would later on come about. But yeah, that's really where my background in animation comes from. So yes, the story is definitely built based. So yes, the story is definitely based on my own experiences regarding mental health. When I was 17, I was diagnosed with major depressive disorder. And at the time, there was no one I really knew that really had the language to understand what it was that I was dealing with. And I created Captain Zero from a depressive episode, funny enough. Um, and one of the main reasons why I created it was because it just felt like there was no one that understood what it was I was feeling, what it was I was going through. And I just so desperately wanted to be understood. And I knew how art, particularly animation, had this amazing transformative power to be able to communicate thoughts and feelings and emotions in a way unlike any other medium. So I was like, what if I was able to infuse all of these elements of things that I like, superheroes and these interesting, colorful characters and storytelling, but was able to infuse that with a story about, mental health. And that way I could kind of give a window into the mind of someone that was dealing with a mental health issue so I could have people better understand what I was feeling. And funny enough, something that I really created for my own individual journey and my own personal catharsis ended up snowballing into something that became a lot bigger and something that I hope ultimately can help people do the same. It was amazing working with Keith David. Our recording session was done over Zoom, but I got a chance to meet and talk and interact with him. And my goodness, however cool you think Keith David is, he's a million times cooler actually in person. First of all, he knocked out the recording lines in like 15 minutes, like consummate professional. If I'm being really honest, like he really knocked it out in like 5, 7 minutes, to be honest. It only took those additional minutes because we did two other additional takes. But really, we really didn't need those two other takes. He really nailed it on the first one, to be honest. But no, working with Keith was so amazing. He spoke so much life into me. He said such kind, uplifting, super, super powerful words. And it meant so much to me. He told me just how much he appreciated my story, my voice as a writer, and how much the world needed a story like Captain Zero. And that it filled me with such joy because I was someone, again, who grew up watching Keith David and a myriad of live action and animated projects. And for me, that was always my North Star, especially hearing that striking, amazing, silky smooth, but like filled with such deep depth and emotion in his voice. And to be able to have him voice one of the main primary antagonists in my series was nothing short of a dream come true. Working with Keith David was phenomenal. My ambitions with Captain Zero are to make a 5 season long animated series with a couple of OVAs and feature films interwoven in between them. And really, again, just to be able to tell this story and live with these characters long form, there's so much. I mean, I really look at Captain Zero Into the Abyss Part 2 as really just a high quality proof of concept. Like, yes, technically it's a short film, but more than anything, it's really just a proof of concept, really just to kind of get people enamored with this world, this character, and what it is that, Xerxes is dealing with, and kind of to give them the overarching view of what I want them to understand about this character and his world. But yeah, no, the goal for sure is long term down the line, feature films, television show. So it's a very interesting paradigm being a creative person that's working with the mental health issues. The things that I would do to advise people against burnout is you got to take rest. You have to look at rest as being just as important as the work is. And that's something that I had to learn, in the last couple of years, not to just look at rest as something that's a reward for burning yourself out and getting to the end, but factoring in and building in rest as a part of the work. Because if you're not well rested, you're not going to be as sharp as you need to be. You're not going to be thoughtful. You're not going to be tactful. You're not going to be able to pull from all of those interesting creative places in your brain when you're so mentally exhausted. So rest is the biggest thing. And the other thing I would say is make sure that you surround yourself with a team of like-minded people that understand your goals, your visions, your ambitions, who share that level of creativity with you, who share that desire and passion for you. Because especially in the early stages, in the beginning, working in indie animation, it's not going to be for the glory, and it's certainly not going to be for money. So you have to find people that are aligned in your vision and people that can build with you and grow with you. Allow people to help you lift, the load. Allow people to help carry, your story with you. Because if you don't, you're just going to have all of that weight on your back. And no one person can make it in this industry, especially animation, working alone. It's a collaborative medium for a reason. So lean on those other people and definitely get that rest. So yes, the short definitely touches on issues that I feel like are very prevalent without, teetering that line of being preachy. And this was something that I definitely intended for the short film, as well as all future projects related to Captain Zero, whether that be the feature film or the animated series. The goal was always to have something that felt very, Static Shock-esque. Something that I really loved about that show growing up is how they were able to entertain first and foremost, but still have these messages in there that I felt like was really great, powerful social commentary. And that's something that I feel like is honestly kind of lacking in a lot of the animated space, especially for adult animation. We get cool stories and interesting storylines and, things that we can see as cathartic as an individual goes through their interpersonal journey. But something that I really miss about being able to see shows like, X-Men, the animated series, or even Spider-Man, the animated series, Batman, the animated series, and certainly in Static Shock was, that ability to kind of have the medicine in the applesauce, giving people something that they can walk away with, something that people can imbue and impart in their lives and take something with them that is more than just entertainment, but can also still be fully entertaining. You can find me at Z Cherami, that is ZCHERAIME, on all social media platforms. And you can follow Captain Zero at Captain Zero TAS, that is CAPTAINZEROTAS. And you can follow that on all social media platforms and you'll be able to find us. Again, thank you so much for the chance to talk to you, for this opportunity. I really, really appreciate it, and I appreciate you.